Okay, we are back in Legend Heroes Trails to Azure, and I think I forgot to point out in the previous videos that all the quests here were optional. In order to progress the story at any time, you just come over here and do this. And there you go. That's it.
昨夜、空港に到着する前にライティングされたこのビルを見かけましたが、こうして実際に見上げるととんでもない大きさですね。
気持ちはわかるよ。
まさにクロスベルの新しいランドマークって感じですよね。
しかしこんなでかいビル、一体何に使うってんだ。前の視聴者に比べてでかすぎるんじゃねえか。
まあいろいろな機能が盛り込まれているビルだから。市や自治州の行政区画以外にも国際貿易センターや文化交流に関するフロアもあるの。まさに大陸西部の中心となるべく建造されたと言えるでしょうね。
はあ、スケールのでかい話だな。
でもそんな風に言われると今回の通商会議も納得ですよね。
実際このビルの完成でクロスベルへの資本情報集中は今まで以上に加速するだろうね。そうした展望を踏まえての今後の取り決めなんかが話し合われるってところかな。
ええ、そう聞いているわ。もっとも経済的な話だけにはとどまらないでしょうけど。
さてとどうする？ダドリーさんとは正午に1階の玄関フロアで待ち合わせているけど。
そうね、まだ時間はあるけど。
まあとにかく用事やら準備なんかは済ませとこうぜ。何が起きても問題ねえようにな。
そうですね。さすがに会議が始まったら外に出るわけにもいきませんし。
では、用事と準備を済ませたらビルに入るとしましょう。
And there you have it. So real quick, if you noticed during that little scene how the cop sprites were walking on angles, I don't know if that's because they're stretching it here or if they're just using the sprites with a different camera angle from like the previous maps. You can see the dude right there on the left. So when we're at the normal angle that we're at for most of Crossbow, I think they appear straight on. But here you can see what they really look like. And if you're wondering why Lloyd and crew are not like that, it's because they have battle sprites and everything, so they're shown from many different angles. If you think about their S-Crafts, for instance, like those are shown with a straight-on 90-degree angle. Orcus Tower is restricted to authorized personnel only today. As members of the Triple S, however, all of you are freely permitted to pass. No sign of any terrorists so far. I doubt they'd be brazen enough to attack the building from the front, but that's no reason to relax our guard. We already finally reached the day of the main conference session. My nerves are starting to get the better of me. I need to calm down. Truth be told, if I were working there, I'd want to be on the front gate today, because that would be the quiet part, I imagine. Good afternoon, Triple S. Nothing unusual to report here in the plaza. You may have people try to sneak in or make a break for it, but that'd be about it. You just tase them and call it a day. Wow, even from all the way up close, I can barely believe my eyes. Never seen anything like this. Not even the tetracyclic towers compare. Now listen up, alright? Mind your manners around the dignitaries and don't forget to smile. One critical mistake in front of them can wind up costing any of us our job. We already know that, sir. Please don't make the pressure any worse than it already is. Good luck today, everyone. Let's work hard and ensure this trade conference ends without incident. Good afternoon, Triple S. We were told you'd be participating in the trade conference in security detail. You can head inside whenever you're ready. So if you have all your quests done, just make sure everything's checked off and reported and everything. You can go on in.
ダドリーさんとは正午に1階の玄関フロアで待ち合わせしている。まだ時間はあるけどそろそろ中に入ろうか。
Okay, had to stop there for a sec. So yeah, upon entering Orcus Tower, you'll be unable to buy new equipment, air items, or upgrade ordnance. Be warned that all outstanding quests will expire. If you want to go in, this should be the end of the chapter, which means there'll be new upgrades and gear available, so I don't really think it's worth wasting your resources at this stage. Just power through with what you got and save it for the next chapter when everything goes up in cost.
すごいな。
なんつうか豪華かつハイテクって感じだね。
IBC ビル以上に近未来的な雰囲気ですよね。
確かビルの全フロアに動力ネットが引かれているはずです。 IBC とも連動しているため株価指数などのデータもリアルタイムで参照できるとか。
ええ、そのあたりはおじさまのアイデアみたいね。
なるほど。銀行家ならではの発想ってわけだね。よし、それじゃあダドリーさんが来るまで待たせてもらうか。
今日は一般客もいないし、そちらのソファーで待たせてもらいましょう。
来ていたか。
ダドリーさん、
お疲れ様です。
現在正午ちょうど。通商会議が始まるのはあと30分もすれば首脳たちがやってくるだろう。
なるほど。
それで私たちの方はどちらに向かえば？
本当ならば私が会場周りを軽く案内するつもりだったが、思わぬ人がお前たちを案内してくれると申し出てな。
思わぬ人？
やあ諸君、よく来てくれたね。
ディーター市長。
おじさま。
半月ぶりだね、エリ、ロイド君。ワジ君にノエル君に、おっと、ランディ君とティオ君は久しぶりかな。
お久しぶりっす。
ご無沙汰してます。
でもどうしておじさまが？
通商会議の直前でお忙しいんじゃないんですか？
準備ならとっくに済ませて、あとは首脳たちを待つだけでね。気分転換も兼ねて君たちを案内させてもらおうと思ったんだ。ダドリー君、構わないな。
市長がそうおっしゃるなら、お前たちくれぐれも市長に失礼のないように。それと一通り案内されたら34階の警備対策室に来い。
了解しました。
では市長、また後ほど。
あ、よろしく頼むよ。有能な捜査官だが少し融通が利かないところがあるな。彼の職分からするとそれもまた美徳なのだろうが。
まあ鬼の捜査一課としての威厳もあるんだろうからね。
おっと、肝心なことを言い忘れていたな。支援課の職務、オルキスタワーへようこそ。さあ、ついてきたまえ。
相変わらずだな。
さすがマリアベルさんのお父さんなだけはありますね。
まあせっかく案内してくださるみたいだし。
ああ、お言葉に甘えるか。
So let's talk to the NPCs before we follow. In just 1 hour, the main session of the conference will finally begin. I'll be down here handling communications between city officials and during the proceedings. The thing is, I'm a tad nervous. This whole event is going to be a lot of responsibility. Hello everyone, this is the Orcus Tower reception desk. The security command room upstairs told us to help with whatever you may need today, so please let us know if you need our assistance in any way. General Affairs 1st Division is tasked with the management and operation of Orcus Tower. In other words, it was our duty to see that the conference and waiting rooms for today were fully prepared. Things have been hectic for a while, but we finally managed to finish up just a bit ago. I went over... Oh, look. Mach speed is staying surprisingly still. Does not live up to its name, I'm afraid. I want my money back. So Mayor Qua is going to show all of you around personally, huh? He's really taking a shine to the Triple S. Then again, there's a reason people say you guys are his favorite division of the police. I don't know if I'd go that far. Don't get me wrong, it's not that I'm bitter or anything. Sorry if it came out that way, though. Tibaudo is his name? I could understand if it was like Thibodeau or something. Maybe that could be a typo. So I've heard the name Thibodeau, but not Tibaudo. Truth be told, I like you guys too. I'll be rooting for you, Triple S. Reduced state may be different, but I'm glad we have the chance to work together like this. Thank you for saying so. It would seem that only in half a year we've gone from zeros to heroes. Feels like just yesterday when the Force was calling us bargain bin bracers and sideshow monkeys. Did they really? I guess infighting is just one of those things every organization has to deal with. Yeah, some people really hit it out for you back then. Don't let it get to you though, no one's stubborn enough to keep saying those things now. But enough about that, let's all work hard and do our best today, yeah? Sure thing.
エレベーターが3機も。
へえ、さすが豪勢だね。
まあ地上40階の高さだからね。専用のエレベーターを入れたら全部で6機が運用されているんだ。
それはすごいですね。
さて全部のフロアを案内するわけにもいかないから会議関連のフロアに限定しよう。まずは警備対策室のある34階だ。
よろしくお願いします。
なるほど。ダドリー君からも聞いたが確かに危うい状況だな。
はい、両兵団と犯罪組織の動向に帝国政府と共和国政府の思惑、
そして両国首脳を狙うテロリストの脅威もあります。
それと謎のハッカーですね。奪われたタワーの図面はやはりこちらの端末から。
ああ、どうやらオルキスタワーのサブ端末をハッキングしたらしい。 IBC の一件があって以来システム部門でもハッキング対策は強化していたつもりだったがまだまだ不十分だったよう
な。ハッカーなんてまだまだ数は少なそうだけど、
やっぱりエプスタイン財団の関係者の可能性が高いのかね。
現在ロバーツ主任がその可能性を探ってくれています。ただ今回は財団の関係者ではないような気がしますけど。
まあそちらの調査はおいおいするしかないだろう。両兵団や犯罪組織テロリストたちも心配だがそれ以上に気になるのが首脳たちの狙いと思惑でね。
首脳たちの狙いと思惑、
つまり通商会議の参加者ってことっすか。
君たちが会ったクローディア姫とオリバルト王子については私レミフェリアの太閤閣下もやはり信頼に足る人物だ。問題はオズボーン宰相とロックスミス大統領の2人でね。
二大国の首脳ですか。
確かにクロスベルの命運を握っている2人だとは思うけど、具体的に何か動きでも。
いやその逆だ。会議の開催にあたっていくつかの取り決めや国際協定などの提案を事前に送ったのだがそこで返ってきた返答が両国とも好意的すぎたのだよ。まるで本気で西ゼムリアの平和と発展を望んでいるかのように。
それは
さすがに不自然ですね。いつもことあるごとに反発し合っている2国なのに。
ああ、正直会議そのものがどう流れるか予想もつかない。かなり厳しい展開になることも覚悟する必要がありそうだ。
なるほど。
やっぱり政治的にも大変な状況なんですね。
まあマクダエル議長も力になってくださるだろう。うまくいけばリベールやレミフェリアなどを味方にして交渉できるかもしれない。とにかく腹をくくった上でエイドスに祈るしかないだろうさ。
おじさま、
すみません。そんな大変な時に案内なんてさせてしまって。
とんでもない。 逆にそんな状況だから気分転換しておきたくてね。わざわざ君たちの案内を買って出たというわけなんだ。
そうでしたか。
光栄です、市長閣下。
そんじゃ喜んで案内してもらうっす。
ああ、任せたまえ。おっと、到着だな。
ああ、
すごい。
すごい見晴らしですね。
いやー、最高の光景だぜ。
満足してもらえたようだね。ここが34階。国際会議などが開かれた時、関係者が待機するフロアになる。それではざっと見て回るとしようか。
はい、お願いします。
そちらは警備対策室に加えて報道陣などの控え室が並んでいる。テロリストが潜入した場合に備え、一応警備隊の一個中隊も下のフロアに待機している状態だ。
話は伺っています。
警備隊でもえりすぐりが集められてるみてえだな。
しかし報道陣ってことはグレイス女子も来るのかな。
なあ、クロスベルタイムズの女性記者だったかな。リストにあったと思うから多分取材に来るだろう。ちなみに報道陣は取材と記者会見の時以外はこのフロアから出さない予定だ。
なるほど、合理的だね。
たまに警備をすり抜けて突撃インタビューをするような乱暴な記者もいますものね。
というかグレイスさんが一番そんな感じですけど。
さすがに見つけたら止めないとな。
一応こちらの部屋も案内しておこうか。
へえ、これは見事だね。休憩室みたいだけどすごい開放感だな。
ここは会議の関係者に用意されている休憩室だ。休憩時間などに遠慮なく利用してくれたまえ。
はい、遠慮なく。
後でお茶でも一服しに行きましょうか。
さて、こんなところで次のフロアに案内しようか。
ここは非常階段エリアですか。
下への階段は封鎖されてるみてえだが、
本来なら階段を使って1階まで降りることができる。しかし今回の会議中は34階、35階、36階以外は封鎖するようにしているんだ。
なるほど、警備上の理由ですね。
でももし地震なんかが起きた時はどうするんだい。
その場合、自動的に全ての非常階段が開放される。まあ完璧なセキュリティはありえないということだね。
なるほど、気をつけておきます。
ハッキング対策なども考える必要がありそうですね。
さて、せっかくだから階段を使うとしようか。35階、国際会議場フロアだ。
そちらが。
この後行われる国際親善という名前の腹の探り合いの舞台、国際会議場だ。
これは
すごい見晴らしです。
これだけ天井が高いってことは2フロアぶち抜きみてえだな。
ああ、そのため上の36階はこの字型の構成になっている。ちなみに両脇の部屋は各国首脳の関係者が詰める控え室になっていてね、護衛の将校などが待機することになるだろう。
なるほど。
確かにそういう部屋も必要だろうね。
さて、最後のフロアに案内するとしようか。ここは会議に参加する各国首脳に用意された控え室のあるフロアだ。ざっとだけ案内しよう。
お願いします。
おお、さすが豪華だな。
こんな部屋で優雅に時間を過ごしたいもんだね。
こちらはオリバルト殿下に使ってもらう予定の控え室だ。左翼にも部屋があって参加者ごとに割り当ててある。まあ会議でヒートアップした頭を冷やしてもらうための場所かな。
なるほど。
一応こうした部屋にも動力ケーブルは。
ああ、目立たぬ形で配線がされているはずだ。まあ他の部屋については割愛するとして、最後にあそこだけ案内しておくとしようか。
これはディーター市長。
お疲れ様です。
楽にしてくれたまえ。この回廊室からは会議の様子を一通り確認することができる。機密性の高い会議などではカーテンを閉じることもあるが、今回は開いておく予定だ。
なるほど。会場の様子を確かめられるのはちょっとありがたいな。
そうね、何かあったら駆けつけることができそうだし。
そういう意味では巡回ルートにしたいですね。
さて、これで君たちが警備する3つのフロアを案内したが、最後にとっておきの場所へ案内させてもらおうか。
とっておきの場所？
へえ、どこっすか？
ふふん、このビルで最も見晴らしのいい場所さ。
これはさすがに見事だね。言葉も出ないな。
そうね。街がまるでミニチュアみたいに見えますね。
いやー、夜はさぞかしすんげえ景色なんだろうな。
いずれこの場所は展望台として市民に開放しようと考えている。政府関係者だけが独占するのはあまりにももったいないからね。
なあ、それはいいですね。
キーヤちゃんもここに連れてきたいわね。
おっと、失礼。ああ、私だ。そうか、わかった。すぐにそちらに向かおう。どうやら首脳たちがタワーに到着したようだ。申し訳ないが、これで失礼させてもらうよ。
そうですか。本当にありがとうございました。
どうもです。
い やーマジ楽しかったっす。
いい経験をさせていただきました。
こちらこそいい気分転換をさせてもらったよ。それではまた後で。警備の方は頑張ってくれたまえ。
はい、お任せください。推薦文くらいは頑張らせてもらおうかな。
エイドスのご加護を、会議の成功お祈りしてます。
私も祈っているよ。
さてと、俺たちもダドリーさんのところに行くか。
確か34階の警備対策室でしたね。
しかしこのまま何も起きなきゃいいんだが。
そうですね、本当に。
それではこれより西ゼムリア通商会議の本会議を開始いたします。議事進行は僭越ながら私ヘンリー・マクダエルが行わせていただきます。会議は一度休憩を挟んで約5時間を予定しております。ただし進行次第では多少の延長はありえますのでよろしくご了承ください。それと会議に際して2名のオブザーバーに参加してもらっています。イアン・グリムウッド弁護士、クロスベルのみならず周辺諸国で活躍している法律専門家です。国際法、慣習法にも通じているため本会議への参加を要請しました。
はじめまして、イアン・グリムウッドです。
ほう、あなたが有名な熊ひげ先生か。
人権問題などにも積極的に関わられていると
よろしくお願いします。
誠心誠意務めさせていただきます。
遊撃士アリオス・マクレイン、やはり周辺諸国で多大な功績を挙げていることで知られています。遊撃士協会という中立的立場から本会議の安全を保障してもらうため参加を要請しました。
アリオス・マクレインです。お見知りおきを。
はは、風の牽制だったか。共和国でも何度か君の名前は耳にしておるよ。
テートでもたまに聞きますが、かのクロスベルの地に風をまとう牽制ありと。
恐縮です。
それでは早速となりますが、各議案の検討に入りましょう。定義者ディーター・クロイス市長、説明と補足をお願いします。
はっ。まずお手元にある資料の最初にある議案ですが、
始まりましたね。
ああ、でもアリオスさんが呼ばれているのは聞いてたけど。
しかも熊ひげ先生の名前で知られているみたいですし、
国際会議では様々な合意や協定が交わされることがあるわ。その場合、既存の国際法や国際慣習法などに照らし合わせて妥当かどうか判断する必要があるの。
なるほど、そのためのアドバイザーがあの熊ひげ先生ってわけだね。
しかし始まったはいいが、さすがに小難しそうな話をしてるみてえだな。
まあ会議の内容に関しては我々が関与するところではない。この通商会議が無事に終わるか、それだけに集中しておけ。
はい。
それでは早速打ち合わせ通りに。
ああ、お前たちには34回、35回、36回を一通り巡回してもらう。 一応お前たちの身分は全関係者に伝えている状況だ。各国首脳のスタッフや招待されたマスコミなどにも話を聞いてみるといいだろう。
了解しました。
それでは私は34階に戻る。エイドスの加護、何かあれば連絡してこ
い。やっぱりダドリーさんも何かあると思っているらしいな。
ええ、これだけ怪しげな動きがあって何もないのは不自然かと。
どうやら気合を入れて巡回する必要がありそうですね。
早速巡回を始めるかい？ああ、一通り回りながら関係者に話を聞いてみよ
う。Okay, we're back in control finally. Conference is finally here. I don't know about you, but I can feel the tension in the air. The rooms here in the West Wing are reserved for the visiting dignitaries from Emefiria, Laboral, and Calvert. For their privacy, we limited patrols on this floor to only what's necessary. It may sound flawed, but do understand that our guests are heads of state. We're obligated to provide them a certain amount of confidentiality. The dignitaries are also being accompanied by their own personal escorts during any recesses, so security shouldn't be an issue. Well, let's go in the first room. Oh, stairs. Second room. This is the room reserved for Prince Albert of Emefiria. From what I understand, the Grand Prince has an extensive knowledge of music. As it happens, I'm currently preparing Speaker McDowell's private record collection for him to enjoy. I'm dusting up a storm today. There's not a speck of place on this potted plaid now that I'm done with it. Time to double check any spots I missed. Yep, she's slacking off. Just walking around holding a broom and everyone thinks she's busy. Oh, you're those police officers they have on patrol, aren't you? That's sorry for interrupting. And you're Princess Claudia's little friend, Zieg, was it? Ah, this must be the Girlfalcon Kia told me about. What's the little guy saying? Could you translate for us, Tio? He said hello again, Triple S, and nice to meet you, Tio. So he remembers us after all. Clever bird. I remember the faces of Princess Claudia's friends. Well, I'm honored to hear you say that, Zieg. Are you all familiar with Mr. Zieg? Isn't he just the cutest, smartest little bird you ever seen? And he's not talking to us anymore, I guess. I don't mean to make a fuss, but are these refreshments truly suitable for the President? I understand your concern, but the kitchen staff do their very best with them. I'm sure they'll be fine. Besides, they're patriotic in a way, don't you think? I suppose so, but surely there are better alternatives. Is there some kind of issue with the snacks they prepared? Those sweet buns have Mishy's face on them. I would recognize them anywhere. They're Mishy buns. I fail to see the problem here. Any other food stuff would be objectively inferior. Calm down, Tio. If nothing else, they'll give the President something to remember Crossbell by. Give him a swift kick you-know-where, and that'll give him something to remind Crossbell by. Great, now that you brought up the issue, I can't stop worrying about it. But it's too late now. We don't have time to prepare anything else. Every one of these sweet buns has Mishy's face stenciled on them. Can't help but think they're a rather tacky choice to serve at so formal an event. Let's try the other side now. Did I talk to you? I don't remember. View from the corridor is something really impressive. Staring into the distance makes you feel like you're floating on top of the clouds. Gotta stay alert. I'm on duty here. The dignitaries have personal rooms on this floor. The first one on the right is for the mayor and the speaker. After that is Prince Olivert's. The first room at the back has been reserved for Chancellor Osborne. They're unoccupied at present, save for the cleaning staff, so feel free to enter if you'd like. The mayor and speaker will be sharing this room during the intermission. They have their work cut out for them representing Crossville today, so I'm going to make this place as spick and span as I can. Aha. This spot gives you an amazing view of Crossbell. Every time I try to clean the windows, I'm getting distracted gazing out at the city instead. And don't worry, in a week, she'll be so used to it she won't even notice anymore. I heard Prince Oliver's especially fond of red roses, so I took the liberty of fetching some to decorate his room with. I hope he enjoys them. This room will be set aside for Prince Oliver during today's intermission. His Highness is quite renowned among the Imperial upper crust for his refined taste and unique pursuits. Maybe that makes me want to put all my energy into preparing this room to his liking. Man, get a load of that view. Ain't it something, Triple S? Lecter? What are you doing here? Come on, you guys. I'm part of His Excellency the Chancellor's staff. Nothing unusual about me kicking back in here. Anyway, good to see you again, gang. We really gotta stop meeting like this. Even today of all days, you look like you don't have a care in the world. What he looks like is someone with something to hide. Hey, don't be like that, little lady. The only thing I'm hiding under all this charm is additional surplus charm. So, those glares on your faces tell me you guys have a boatload of questions you want to ask. That's right, we learned a thing or two in the past 24 hours. Specifically about the Imperial Government's actions or lack thereof regarding the trade conference. Alright then, I'm not exactly sure what you've heard, so let me shoot you a question of my own. Did you know that I'm working with the noble faction to take Gileath Osborne's life? What? Oh? Consider the source, everyone. Don't listen to a word he says. I ain't falling for this one again, pal. Fool us once, shame on you. Dang, don't ruin a guy's fun like that. 2 out of 6 ain't bad, but I was hoping to string half of you along at least. Suppose we can just chalk this one up to a crude attempt at humor, then. Listen, Lecter, because I need to make something clear. I don't care what your position or goal is. From where I'm standing, you're the type of person who knows how to take responsibility and get the job done. Owing to that, the most logical thing to do would be to cooperate with us, at least as far as security is concerned. Am I wrong? So that's your play. I was only fooling about with that turncoat business just now, but you can't tell me it's totally impossible to picture, right? Gotta keep your eyes peeled at all times, stay vigilant and see the signs. That's the key to a good writer finding inspiration, you know. I don't know any aspiring authors in this room last time I checked. I've seen broken rifles shoot straighter than this guy. Sorry, but that's all the advice I can give you at the moment. You should keep an open mind about how things might play out. Expect the unexpected and all that jazz. That's real helpful, thanks. Even now, I can't get a read on what he's thinking. I feel like I understand him even less than I did before. You can see our Orca village off in the distance. Man, just look at all those bees go, carrying honey and buzzing all over the place. Get real, there's no way you can see that far. Huh, why do they have these sealed off? Only left most elevators usable, security precaution. It's controlled by the orbital network. Wouldn't be Orca's tower if the security system wasn't state of the art. No big deal though, we can just use the leftmost elevator instead. Well, this is a lot of people. Good afternoon, everyone. If it isn't the special sports section, I take you've been securing the conference floors for everyone. That's right, we managed to eke out an assignment as part of the security. So this room is where they stashed all the big guns, is it? Metaphorically speaking, of course. But every last person here is a ranking officer. Correct, by all accounts, this room alone could prevent a major incident. Absolutely, not to mention Senior Captain Schwartz's swordsmanship. It's as fearsome as it is elegant. You are far too kind. It's nothing so extraordinary. That being said, no matter what happens, no one will lay so much as a finger on Her Highness, I swear it. Trust us to protect the conference room, and we will trust you to keep watch over the other floors. Of course, thank you. As members of the Royal Guard, it's our sworn duty to protect Princess Claudia by any means necessary. Rest assured that the security here is in good hands. Best of luck with the rest of your patrols. Trust us to protect the conference room, and we will trust you to keep watch over the other floors. May Adios protect you all. It's good to see you again, Major Vander. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary yet? Hello there, Triple S. It's hardly enough reason to let our guards down, but things have been calm thus far. Even the discourse of the conference itself has been civil. I'm admittedly impressed by how smoothly things are going. If the conference continues to go well, that will at least alleviate some of the stress on the prince's shoulders. Is everything okay, Major Vander? You seem to have a lot on your mind. I suppose you could say that. In a sense, we've only come this far because of the seeds he chose to sow. But never mind that. What matters right now is our duties at this conference. I have a role to play as the prince's escort. Just I'm sure you all have your own, keeping this conference secure. Right, that much is for certain. Any loud noise you make in this room will carry over the next door and interrupt the conference. As such, we ask you to remain as quiet as possible while you're here. You must be the special sports section. Thank you for your service today. As you can see, there's nothing out of the ordinary to report here. If you have no particular business, I would ask you not loiter in this room any longer than necessary. Sure thing. Rather blunt, isn't he? Like a pistol whip to the face. I've been a nervous wreck all day. I can't let this opportunity go to waste, especially after all Prince Oliver's done for the Academy. Most importantly, I'm here as a representative of Thor's. I've got to pull myself together and chip in. What's a girl in a school uniform doing here? I did hear that a student is going to be accompanying the Imperial Government to the conference. Supposedly they're hoping to gain some real-world experience being one of the best and brightest of their academy. This must be her. Damn, here I was thinking someone just couldn't find a babysitter. Somehow I get the feeling that she and I would have a lot to talk about. She has to have skipped a grade or two, right? You never know, that girl might just be around the same age as you and Lloyd. Seems like she's got a good head on her shoulders, so I guess she could be older than she looks. Nice to get to know her, but we're pressed for time today. Have to put together conference minutes and review the draft we're sending to the Imperial Times. I need to respond to Radio Trista's media request too. So yes, we'll never know who that tiny individual is. The conference is finally underway. If terrorists really do attack, we can only guess what they'd be after. Regardless, we'll have our assignments from the security command room, and you can be sure we're going to do them. But in case you're wondering, Toa was not here in the original version of the game. Her presence here is one of those things that they added, just like Ken, Nana, and Yuna. Basically, Cold Steel throwbacks. Stop to stretch there. Conference is currently in session. If you'd like to observe, you can do so from the gallery on the next floor. The first half of the conference is scheduled to conclude at 3 p.m. Of course, that could change slightly depending on how things go inside. And he just says what he normally says. Today's trade conference is of great interest to those of us from Etheria, hoping it leads to further economic development back home. You're the special support section, correct? I heard you assisted His Lordship Prince Albert yesterday. Not at all, if anything, he was the one who helped us. That's right, His Lordship's medical knowledge was tremendously useful. Is that so? To his credit, the Grand Prince is an excellent doctor in his own right. Details aside, I can say with confidence that His Lordship is both extremely pleased and impressed with all of you. Glad to have the opportunity to meet the men and women he spoke of so highly of. Our pleasure, my man. We appreciate your kind words. You must be that special support section that I have on patrol duty. Thank you very much for your service. Let us know if there's anything we can do to make your job easier. The conference appears to be going well. Better than a typical Republican Parliament session anyway. The President has to be relieved he's not dealing with the opposing party today. Well, look who it is. How go your patrols, Triple S? Kilika? The looks on your faces tell me you have some intel about what could happen today. Might have something to do with your invitation aboard the Arsail, perhaps. I beg your pardon? We should have expected you would already know. Geez, how do your sources even get this stuff? Settle down, it isn't anything to fret over. I mean, curious, though. Did you hear anything of note? It's only some friendly advice, nothing more. There's still plenty we have to figure out for ourselves. Is that right? Well, the same could be said of myself. What? I was merely thinking aloud. I can envision as many scenarios as I like, but that doesn't mean any of them will come to pass. With so many conflicting motives, there's still much we don't know. That's true of everyone working here today. Will today be the first day the domino falls, or is that juncture yet to come? Who can really say at this point in time? I think I understand what you're getting at, but still. Either way, she's right on the mirror. The only thing I'll add is that my role today is nothing more than that of a presidential guardian and keeper. In that sense, you can also consider us as colleagues. Let's say we put aside our allegiances and simply watch how today unfolds. Beyond that, I have no further comments to make for the moment. Fair enough, thanks for the information. Oh right, we need to talk to her again. I'm sure you have much you like to discuss. For now, let's watch and see how things proceed. Given that we're both tasked with security today, our duties aren't that different from each other. So I need to go back to the other room because I think there's a mistake. Yeah, Republican soldier. He's not a Republican soldier, he's part of the Royal Guard. He's part of the Monarch. The Monarchy, so they gave him the wrong title there. Something that would tell me where to go. Saw Vice Commissioner Pierre muttering to himself earlier. Hope he's alright. I'm a little worried about him, to be honest. Yeah, I want to come to this room last. I probably should have went about things the other way. Captain Grant, a pleasure to see you. Hey, Grant, working hard? Good day, Sergeant Major Seeker. You as well, Sergeant Orlando. Though I suppose neither of you is technically part of the CGF at the moment. That may be true, but my leave is only temporary. You can address me by whatever you find easiest. I don't really care either way. Are you two the only representatives from the CGF on this floor? That we are. It's out of consideration for the dignitaries members of the press, you might say. Part of the CGF's orders for this assignment is to stay out of their sight and minimize exposure, hence the bare-bones deployment. Sounds like the reasoning goes deeper than that. It does. Essentially, the decision is a way of tiptoeing around the two major powers. While the Guardian Force's weaponry is restricted by state law, it still functions the same as any other state military. We stay within budget, but a great deal of our funding goes towards maintaining and improving the arms we're allowed to have. Those expenditures would be an easy point of contention if they were out in the open during the conference. Out of sight and out of mind, in other words. Diplomacy can be one fickle mistress. All true, but I try not to think about it too much. In the end, the both of us are only up here for appearance's sake. Still, there's an entire company of guardsmen 1 story below, ready to mobilize at a moment's notice. Should something happen, they'll be on this floor within seconds, rest assured. Good to know. We'll be kind if it comes to that. It's up to us to keep everyone safe today, Sergeant Major Seeker. Let's put our backs into it. You can trust the security of this floor to me and Captain Grant. Roger that. Not that I complain, but this room is a bit over the top for just 2 people. Guess it just goes to show when it comes to extravagance, Orcus Tower truly is in a league of its own. All of us in the security division are contributing to keeping Orcus Tower safe during the trade conference. Our members are practical combat specialists who train constantly for emergency situations. Should the worst come to pass, I can assure you that we're just as capable as the Crossbow Guardian Force. We're accustomed to protecting government property and dignitaries alike, whether it's the anniversary festival or this international conference. Handling large-scale events is all just part of the job. Watching the building through this monitor, you can tell everyone on security details on extra high alert. Things would be a lot simpler if our fears about these terrorists turned to be unfounded, wouldn't they? The infrastructure we set up in here allows us to consolidate and parse every bit of security data that flows in just like that. Plus, while the terminals here are limited, we're still able to access the database at CPD headquarters. Should the need arise, we'll have detailed info on any suspicious characters available at our fingertips. There you all are. Have you noticed anything amiss? Not yet. That monitor over there gives you a security overview of the entire tower at once, right? Correct. We have access to every critical area of the building in real time. That includes the conference room, of course. Thankfully, this tower is equipped with the most advanced security system on the continent. Numerous locations are beginning to incorporate video surveillance, as I recall from the IBC to Orbital stores. I've never seen such a large quantity of them in one place, however. How many there are is only half of it. The fact this technology even exists is amazing on its own. Wouldn't be surprised to see them used to survey areas outside the city someday. The CGS days might be numbered, Noel. I don't think it'll ever be that simple. How widespread they become is going to depend on the public's approval. Digressions aside, they are more than welcome convenience for this assignment. Without any leads on the terrorist plans, all we can do is nip things in the bud the moment they strike, whether right before or just after. That's why you have to keep our eyes sharp. Can't afford to overlook even the tiniest detail. If you come across anything suspicious, be sure to report it at once. Understood. Keeping in contact with our surrounding posts, nothing out of the ordinary has been reported as of yet. You 6 should continue patrolling your assigned floors, I'll leave you to it. My throat is starting to get a little dry. Waiting rooms for the members of the press from each participating country. General policy forbids them from exiting while the conference is in session. They should all be accounted for in there. Feel free to enter if there's anything you need to confirm. We'll look there in a sec. Good to see you, Triple S. If it ain't Lloyd & Company. Feels like we've been waiting forever for this trade conference to kick off, doesn't it? It's the main event of all main events. Crossbill's leadership and representatives from 4 nearby countries in a bonanza of international discourse. And of course, a big to-do like this demands a primetime venue. Orcus Tower, the continent's first true skyscraper. Can you feel it? The nerves in the air? I'm so tense that my heart's about to jump onto my chest. I definitely see the tension, but honestly you don't look the least bit nervous to me. I suspect the nerves are coming less from her and more her future prospective victims / interviewees. Tio, you're back, and you brought that trademark snark with you too. I'll admit, I'm not so much anxious as I am giddy, but enough about that. There's someone I want to introduce you to. Meet Noticia. Noticia, the Special Support Section. Nice to meet you. Seen you all in the papers before. You look like an even finer team in person. I'm Noticia, a reporter from the Liberal News. Thank you for keeping us all safe for the day. Happy to be of service. I've heard of the Liberal News Service. It's the largest publication in the kingdom. That's right, they've also been getting a lot of attention in the journalism world for other reasons. 2 of their own reporters were awarded with the Pulitzer Prize last year. The Pulitzer? Is that the prize that Nielsen person won a few years back? It's given to the continent's most outstanding journalists every year, if I remember right. That's the one? Anyway, the latest recipients are a duo by the name of Niall Burns and Dorothy Hyatt. Niall's our ace reporter, and Dorothy's a brilliant camerawoman. So the kingdom took home the crown last year, huh? 2 guesses as to what the prize-winning story was. Could have been about the strange phenomenon that happened in Liberal around that time? Right again. Though technically everything they covered leading up to the incident factored into the decision too. I see, they sound very impressive. Yeah, I guess so, but that doesn't mean we'll just lie down and let them outshine us. It's every reporter's dream to win the Pulitzer Prize at least once in their career, and if you want to win the next one, then you better get the best scoop you can each and every day, especially this one. You got that, Ryans? We can't let any of these news hounds get the jump on us. Yes, ma'am. If Grace could stay more fired up, the orbital sprinkler system might go off. Let's hope she can behave herself at least. Dorothy Hyde is the Liberal News Service's photojournalist extraordinaire. Her photos are both remarkably vivid and captivating beyond belief. As a photographer myself, I'd love the opportunity to speak with her someday. So I take it Niall and Dorothy couldn't make it. That's right, they're on an assignment in Calvert, so they won't have got here in time. Things are a little touch and go over there right now. Yeah, I'll bet. Got something to do with those radical nationalists they've got running around, right? Where's the Republican government is considering about them making a move to... Okay, it's concerned about them. I misread that at first. It's concerned about them making a move during the trade conference. Well, look at you. Guess that press pass of yours isn't just for show, is it? For the same, although there's no evidence of their involvement yet. So Grace managed to dig that info up too, huh? No sense worrying about now. I don't know if there should be an it there or not. We've got our own job to take care of. Guess I could try going to the LNS head office next time in Liberal. It's a pretty short airship ride from Ruin to Grantsville after all. By the way, Norsha, can I ask you to deliver a message for me for the next time you run into Niall? Tell him Grace says congrats on the Pulitzer. Once I win mine, we can pose them together. Oh yeah, I do remember hearing that the two of you knew each other. Alright, I'll make sure to pass it along. Thompson from the Arden Press. I'm Thompson from the Arden Press. I think that's Remiferia, but I'm not 100% sure. Pleasure to meet you. You're a photographer with the Tyrrell Times, if I'm not mistaken. So isn't he a Republican, or... That's right, but I'm still only a rookie. You said Arden Press, right? That means you're from Remiferia. We may be from different countries, but we're not competitors today. I'm looking forward to working with you. Likewise, here's hoping we get the story we're looking for. That's right, on clear days you can see it standing tall in the distance. As a matter of fact, it's actually given Altair's tourism industry a slight boost, almost if it were a secondary landmark. Okay, I had to take a break there for a moment. Already Orcus Tower is impacting the economies of multiple countries at once. Clear days you can see it standing tall in the distance, given Altair's tourism industry a slight boost, a second-hand landmark. I haven't heard too many positive remarks about the Crossbow Police in the past. However, seeing how tight the building security is, I'm getting the exact opposite impression today. The only conclusion I can come to is the CPD's shortcomings are a result of their structure, not their people. This trade conference truly is extraordinary. I've never covered anything like this before. Conferences between any of these two countries aren't uncommon, but between Crossbow and its four neighboring nations, that's unheard of. Not to mention both Chancellor Osborne and President Rocksmith are attending in person rather than sending surrogates. This is essentially the first time these two men have ever met face to face. Talk about history in the making. It's unprecedented, to say the least. Reporters from every participating nation have gathered for the sake of covering this day, you and your Imperial Chronicle colleagues included. Same can be said about President Rocksmith. Seeing is believing when it comes to understand what kind of leaders they are. In the President's case, he has a much more imposing, dignified impression than what I've seen pictured in the Tyrrell Times. I must say, though, Chancellor Osborne is even more intimidating in person. Truly puts his particular brand of leadership into perspective. A simple photo could never hope to capture that. Okay, I was curious what that was in the box. So let's go talk to Pierre. Last, of course. So this is where they put the lunchbox. It's fun, I can grab a bite to eat. Listen up, there's a press conference scheduled during the intermission. Make sure everything is in order on the double. Understood, we'll get right on it. Can't believe that woman would... No, I'm sure of it this time. Who's he mumbling about? Excuse us, Vice Commissioner Pierre. What? Special sports section, oh joy. Well, can I help you? If I may ask, Vice Commissioner, what are you doing here? Tio, you can't just... No, nothing except my job as Director of the Security Command Room. Since when? Come to think, I do recall seeing your name sprinkled around some of our materials. I see, I never read those, hence my confusion. You what? Here we go. We should probably mention this to all of you sooner. Whoops. One question, if you're the head of security, why are you here instead of the command room? Taking a little break? Please, Dudley has full authority while we're here on site, with my permission, of course. So you see, there's no reason for me to be in the command room. Too many leaders spoil the group, as it were. Think of it however you like. As your superior, I know what is best for the operation. Now then, you six just focus on not getting in Dudley's way. Yes, sir. Yeah, why aren't you actually in the overlooking balcony area at the very least, you bum? Should dock you a day's pay for that. By the way, Vice Commissioner, can I ask what woman you were referring to just now? Curious too, is it someone we should be worried about? Why would my wife be... I mean, mind your own business. It's got nothing to do with you. Now get back to work. Go on. Yes, sir. Understood. All that was about his old lady. Perhaps the tight leash she has on him is beginning to chafe. Whatever the case, I think he'd appreciate us keeping quiet about this. And we had better be wary of his wife. Did we get everyone, or... It's possible we may just need to go upstairs, like I had to stop at an... Oh, there we go.
これで一通り回ったか。
今のところは特に問題なさそうですね。
ああ、この調子でもう一度見て回るとしようぜ。
そうね。会議の方はどうなっているのかしら。
そうだな。市長や議長が頑張っているとは思うけど。
問題は鉄血宰相にロックスミス大統領ですか。
まあ休憩時間になったら誰かに聞けばいいんじゃない？
3:05 p.m. Trade conference finally reached its halfway point. Before the intermission officially began, the heads of state held a brief press conference for the media. I'm hoping this is voiced. I did get something to drink, but hoping I don't have to wear myself out. Maybe. Meanwhile, Lloyd and the others took the opportunity to speak with Mr. Grimwood, who'd started his break ahead of the others. So his nickname is actually Kuma-sensei, which is like Master Bear or Lawyer Bear.
なるほど。そんな事情で君たちも警備に参加したのか。
And you can see they translate that as Grizzly Grim.
正直気休め程度にしかなっていないかもしれませんが。
いやいや、市長暗殺未遂事件で大金星を挙げた君たちだ。この場にいてくれるだけでも私としては非常に心強いよ。
そう言っていただけると。
ありがたいっすね。
それで先生、会議の方はどうなんですか？さほど荒れた雰囲気は感じられませんでしたが。
ああ、今のところは順調だよ。いくつかの通商協定には各国の同意も得られたし、ディーター市長の呼びかけも無駄にならなかったようだね。
そうですか。ちょっと安心ですね。
しかし今のところってことは何か懸念でもあるのかな？そうなんですか。
オブザーバーである私の口から言うのもなんだが、前半は貿易や金融などの経済的な議案がほとんどだったんだ。しかし会議の後半は各国首脳から定義される議案、しかもどうやらクロスベルの安全保障に関する話が出るらしい。
それは
安全保障ってことは軍事の話も入るってことか。
でも2年前に締結された不戦条約もありますよね。
あれはリベールの女王陛下が当時のクロスベルの危機的状況を抑えるために提案したものだ。レミフェリアは関わっていないし、何よりクロスベルそのものが不戦条約には関わっていない。その意味でそれとは別の新たな安全保障の枠組みが求められているのは確かでね。
確かにそれは祖父も懸念していました。
ならクロスベルを交えた新たな条約を結べばいいのでは？
そうですよ。不戦条約と同じ 国家間の争いを武力で解決するのを禁止するような枠組みを。
そうか、クロスベルは国家じゃない、帝国と共和国によって承認された自治州でしかない。
そう、それはつまり国際条約を締結できるような国家主権を持っていないということだ。経済的な協定は結べても対等な立場での条約は結べない。それが結果的にこの地の安全保障をひどく危うくさせてしまっているわけだ。
ややこしいがなんとなく分かってきたぜ。
すみません、ちょっといいですか。クロスベル以外にも自治州というのはあります。レマン自治州、オレド自治州、ノーザンブリア自治州。それらの自治州も同じように国際条約は結べないのですか？
いや、そんなことはない。確かにそれらの自治州もそれぞれの歴史的事情によって国家としては成立していないが、宗主国から移譲される形で同等の主権が認められている。
宗主国。
それらの自治州が徹底的にクロスベルと異なる点、それは成立を承認したのがアルテリア報告ということなの。
アルテリア報告というと七王教会の総本山だったっけ？
ええ、国土は小さいけど宗教的な権威は持っているから。自治州や自由都市の多くはあそこに頼って成立しているの。
だがクロスベルは帝国と共和国に承認されて成立する自治州、いわば宗主国を2つも持っている形になっているんだ。
ええ、そしてそれが歴史的にさまざまなねじれと悲劇を生んだ。クロスベルに少しでも主権が認められればもう少し状況は変わるのでしょうけど、それを2大国が認めることは永遠にありえないでしょうね。
そんな、ため息が出てしまいますね。
話を戻すが、どうやら宰相と大統領はそれぞれ安全保障に関する提案があるらしい。無論それは対等な条約を各国が結ぶというものではない。今頃議長や市長たちは警戒を強めているところだろうね。すまない、不安にさせてしまったようだな。まあマクダエル議長などはこのような状況は慣れっこだろう。それにディーター市長の方は何やら策があるようでね。
策ですか？
それはどういう？
いや、詳しい話は私も聞いていないんだが。
失礼します。特務支援課ロイド・バニングスです。
バニングス、こちらは記者会見が終わった。首脳たちは36階に引き上げたが、お前たちはどこにいる？
はい、34階の休憩室ですが、何かありましたか？
実はオズボーン宰相とロックスミス大統領が休憩時間中、お前たちと直接話がしてみたいそうだ。相手が相手だ。さすがに断ることもできん。休憩時間中に36階にある両首脳の部屋を訪ねるがいい。左翼の採用が大統領、右翼の採用が宰相の部屋だ。
待ってください。一体何がどうして？さすがに荷が重すぎますよ。
甘えるなバニングス。両者の思惑を伺えるまたとない機会だろうが。
わかりました。すぐに両首脳のところに向かいます。
いざという時はエリー城に頼れ。ビップ相手は慣れているはずだ。話が終わったら報告に来い。
了解です。
ロイド、今のは？
おいおい、不穏なことを言ってやがらなかったか？
ああ。
Lloyd explained to the others that both Osborne and Rocksmith had requested a private audience with them.
どうやら冗談ではなさそうですね。
いやはや、驚いたな。どうやら思っていた以上に特務支援課の名前は知れ渡っているようだ。
いや、 両首脳のスタッフにそれぞれ知り合いがいるんです。それで興味を持たれただけかもしれません。
なるほど、そいつはありそうだな。
だとしても断るわけにはいかないわね。
ああ、36階の左翼と右翼の採用の部屋だ。早速訪ねてみよ
う。了解です。
イエスさん。
Receiving an audience with the heads of state of both major powers is something substantial no matter the reason. I'm sure you are apprehensive, but an opportunity like this is worth taking advantage of. At the very least, being able to size both men up in person should be a valuable experience for you. I was thinking the same thing. We'll head over to see them now. Please excuse us, Mr. Grimwood. That's still a lot of box lunches left. Can we take some with us? You know, I'm not sure where Vice Commissioner Pierre headed off. He's been gone for a while now. Maybe he went to the security command room? How are you and your men faring, Captain Grant? Just fine. Everyone's staying by on high alert. Used to being ready for an emergency at any moment. I suppose they would be. That's reassuring to hear. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to go over how our forces will be deployed for the second half of the conference. What are you doing here? You should visit the Chancellor in person while there's still time. I hope I don't have to tell you that it wouldn't be wise to keep them waiting. Even if those terrorists don't shoot during the intermission, there's still the latter half of the conference or even after the session closes. I hope I'm overthinking it, but it's too soon to start calling it a day on things. We'll be ready when the time comes, that much I'm sure of. Halfway through the conference and things are still situation normal. Our goal is to detect any terrorist activity before they strike, but I wouldn't complain if nothing wound up happening. Security procedures remain the same whether the conference is in session or not. Even with security this tight, we still have to remain vigilant of any potential avenues the terrorists may try to break through from. There are several possibilities, so we're all keeping our ears to the ground. We haven't picked up any suspicious activity in or out of the city for the time being. Our surveillance teams reported no movement whatsoever from Hayway or the Red Constellation either. Wish I could call that a good sign, but all it does is make me feel uneasy. This may only be the calm before the storm. Our forces have been scouring the premises for hours, but we still haven't seen hide or hair of the terrorists. Just where could those little eyes be hiding? Hey there, Lloyd and Company. How's the security deal going? Peachy? For now, at least. What about you? Did you manage to get the scoop you're looking for? You know it. We've been doing pretty well for ourselves so far. Speaking of which, I might end up writing a genuinely positive article for once. All I need now is some material with a little more zing to it, something the public would eat right up. I'm sure you already know this, but please don't go sneaking off someplace you're not supposed to. Our jobs are tough enough as it is. I won't. I was gonna make Ryan's do... Listen, I promise I won't break any rules, okay? See? No fingers crossed or anything, so come on, don't worry about it. More worried now than ever. As am I. I, Gracelyn, do swear by oath to follow the rules. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go report into my editor before heading over to the break room. I'm amazed at how many agreements have been reached regarding the continent's economy. This very well could be the influence of Major Qua's current role as CEO of the IBC. I don't think it's a stretch to say that economic development is the key to maintaining peace across Zemuria. I'd say the first half of the conference went well, despite any hidden agendas the major powers have up their sleeves. Revitalizing the continental economy is a welcome suggestion as far as Laboral and Remiferi are concerned. It's rather unusual for the two major powers to compromise on crossbow state proposals to this extent, don't you think? Granted, the two have a vested interest in seeing the state prosper, but it's still a shock to see. That's right, all nations agreed on that issue as well. Go ahead and forward that to our main office. Looks like he's made a call on his Enigma. Most likely to his colleagues outside the tower. Guess his job is providing them with a little play-by-play on what's happening inside the conference. It sounds like a rough job, boring too. How many times must I tell you the press isn't allowed past here? It's still intermission though, right? Can't you just, look the other way? We promise we only want to take a few photos, they don't even know we're there. That's right, I can't go back to Grace empty-handed, please let us through. Persistent as ever, good luck trying to tell a reporter where they can and can't go. As long as no one's trying to physically force their way through, they're not breaking any rules. Guess so, that's all just part of being a member of the press, right? Either way, we may as well give up any hope of using the elevators right now. And we can't talk to them individually. That's heartbreaking. So I'm going to try going straight up to the 36 if they let me. Those are...
そうですか。ルーシー先輩と。
ああ、
この前レミフェリアに出張した時にばったりとな。なんとか逃げようとしたんだがうんずかまっちまったよ。何発殴られたと思う？
一発も。代わりにしがみつかれて泣かれてしまったんじゃないですか？
ね。
ルーシー先輩の気持ちはわかりますから。多分先輩が普段どれだけ危険なことをしているのか気づいたんじゃないかと思います。
女ってのはたまに恐ろしく鋭くなるからな。やりにくくて仕方ねえぜ。
自業自得ですね。懐かしいな。レオ先輩とも会っていませんし、いずれ同窓会とかしたいですよね。先輩ダメですよ。そこはおお見知らぬあたりでパーッと豪勢にやるか。
一本取られたな。約束はできんが、ま、努力はしてみるさ。期待しないで待っててくれ。
わかりました。楽しみに待っています。それでは私はこれで。
ああ、ジークのやつにもよろしく言っといてくれ。やれやれ、ほんと成長してやがんな。さすがは次期女王陛下。あんたらもそう思わないか？
気づかれてたか。
すみません。立ち聞きするつもりはなかったんですが。
つい聞こえてしまって。でもエリーさん、すごく興味津々でしたね。ティオちゃん？
いや、でも気になるぜ。一国のお姫様相手にずいぶんお安くないじゃねえの。
ああ、学校の後輩ってだけだ。と言っても日曜学校じゃなくてジェニス王立学園ってところだが。
ジェニス王立学園、確かリベールにある有名な高等学校だったかな。
ええ、確かに留学生も多く受け入れているけど。
それじゃあ国費で留学されていたんですか？
いや、ポケットマネーさ。そんじゃ俺もこれで失礼させてもらうぜ。ああ、そういやあんたらタヌキどもに呼ばれてるんだってな。どちらも一筋縄じゃいかないからせいぜい気をつけとけよ。
相変わらず怪しさてんこ盛りな人ですね。
リベールの次期女王の先輩にあたる情報将校か。ますます興味深いね。
いずれにしても彼が鉄血宰相の配下として動いているのは確か。何を狙っているのか見極める必要がありそうだな。
So let's go back down to the 35th and see if we can find Lecter. Is that Arios and Killico? I believe so. What could they be talking about? Nearly a year has gone by since you left the guild. Are you adjusting well to your new job? More or less. Though the workload is so much heavier, it doesn't even begin to compare. So I imagine. And how has Shizuku been? As cheerful as ever, though sometimes I feel as though she's a bit too accommodating for a child her age. She was recently blessed with a wonderful friend as well. I've noticed that she smiles more often since then. That's good to hear. It's already been half a decade since Saya's passing, hasn't it? Not to mention 6 years since our first meeting. That's right, 6 years. You were wandering the continent when you came across Saya in Crossbow City by chance. So remember, she insisted you stay with her family while you were in town, no matter how much you tried to refuse. Imagine my surprise when I saw you working for the Bracer Guild in Laburl 3 years later. The goddess works in mysterious ways. You never know what threads will end up tying people together. I'll never forget the hospitality the two of you showed me back then. My only regret is that I was unable to return the favor to her. There's no need to dwell. The fact that you remember to this day would be more than enough for Saya. Sounds like those two knew each other before they met through the guild. Evidently so, but I feel like it would be rude to listen in any further. I agree, we should leave before we interrupt them. Can we talk to him? I just remembered, Estelle and Joshua wanted to see you when you came earlier in the year. They were disappointed to meet you when they heard you and Lynn had lunch together during the anniversary festival. Were they? It wasn't my intention to give them the cold shoulder. If time were permitted, I would have been more than happy to do a little catching up. That being said, I have heard plenty about their achievements while they were in Crossbell. It's amazing to think those are the same two rookies who came through the doors of the Zeiss branch 2 years ago. Indeed, they were invaluable to us during their stay. I should have expected as much from a pair that was raised by Cassius. I look forward to seeing how they continue to grow. That's right, Killick used to be a Bracer Guild receptionist in Laburl. That explains how she knows Estelle and Joshua. Small world as they say, people often have fewer degrees of separation between them than you'd expect. Incidentally, I've heard they've been keeping in contact with Zinn. You could say that, though we rarely get the chance to meet anymore, positions being what they are. Snuffy is shopping for one day, we should move along. I was about to say, geez, that's a lot of scenes. Staff members are currently residing in the conference room. You're free to enter if you like. There haven't been any reports of potential terrorist activity so far. I believe our security is just that, airtight, but we can't get ahead of ourselves. Until the conference is over and done, we need to remain as vigilant as we've ever been. The conference is only half over. I'm not dropping my guard for 1 second until we get the all clear. Alright, now to straighten out this microphone. I have to admit I get a little bit jittery thinking of how some of the most powerful people on the continent were seen here moments ago. My, what an amazing view. It's difficult to imagine a terrorist take wing in such beautiful skies. Yes, that's right. The mere notion is absurd. There's no way it could ever happen. He doesn't sound too convinced. The Vice Commissioner looks so apprehensive standing there. I wonder what's on his mind. Don't worry, I won't bother. I'm just worried it's all. There we go. It's up to us to make sure the attendees have a nice tidy room they can feel comfortable in for the second half of the conference. Promise to give this table the wipe down of a lifetime. I spotted Mr. McLean having a conversation with President Rocksmith's aide in the waiting room down the hall. Seemed to already be acquainted. I wonder just what their relationship is. Hello, Angie? Yeah, we're in the middle of an intermission. That's right, Class 4 is at Corellia Fortress right now. I'm a little worried about what the Imperial Liberation Front is up to, but they should be fine as long as Crow's with them. I'll keep an eye out over on my end, so you guys be sure to do the same. That's not like any orbit I've ever seen. It must have been co-developed by the Foundation and the Rhineford Company. Whatever it is the girl was talking about, though, she seemed pretty on top of it all. Not just anyone can do that sort of thing. So timeline-wise, like right now we're in the prologue of Cold Steel 1, I believe. Where they're at Corellia Fortress and things are about to shoot. This is the waiting room for those accompanying the representatives from Erebony and Laburl. Which means that just minutes ago, the Julia Shorts is staying right here in this spot. Makes me want to scream. Huh? That's awkward. Seems the elevator's arrived. How about that? Please, after you. Oh, I couldn't. You go on ahead. It's quite alright, I promise you I'm in no particular hurry. No, I insist. You were here first. What's up, Lloyd? Take a look at those two soldiers by the elevator. They appear to be trying to compromise on who rides the elevator first. This is kind of painful to watch. Look at them go, like an awkward couple on a first date to the anniversary festival. We can forego using the elevator for now, if only to spare us the emotional turmoil. Good call. Soldiers having a bit of a moment in front of the elevator. Let's just use the stairs. So they do intentionally steer you into Claudia, or Chloe, whatever you want to call her, with Lecter. I didn't see Lecter there. I'm gonna take a... We'll sweep 34 real fast, see if we can find him. Bingo. So you're a coffee connoisseur too, eh, Grizzly Grim? You and the Chancellor would get along just fine. Oh, I take it His Excellency often enjoys a good cup himself, then. Yep, he likes his despair, black as ink on a moonless evening. He loves the stuff. I don't think I've ever seen him blink in all the years I've known him. Is that so? Explains how he manages to keep his eyes on the ball all the time. Chancellor and caffeine sounds like a very intense combination. As dark and bitter as he likes his coffee. I see. So Chancellor Osborne is Team Coffee in the war against tea. What about you, Lecter? Which side are you on? Sorry to burst your bubble, but I've always been a tea guy personally. But why do you care so much about a second secretary likes anyway? It doesn't sound like much of a scoop to me. What can I say? Seeing a good-looking guy like you, I figured maybe I should call dibs. Pretty faces make for some real eye-catchers on the front pages. Ah, stop, you're gonna make me blush. She's laying it on a little thick. Still looks like Grace has a good handle on what makes Lictor tick. From how I see it, this little game of cat and mouse is the way of sizing each other up. Just remember, there's something important I want to discuss with you, Grizzly Grim. There is? What about? Well, you see, I've been having some troubles over at my workplace. You're an expert on civil rights, yeah? I'd like to hear a few takes from you. So that's it. Unfortunately, this isn't exactly the most appropriate place for a consultation. How about I leave this with you and you contact me whenever it's convenient? Grimwood hand Elector a business card. Thanks. Guess Elector's taking this opportunity to network. He does work in intelligence after all. Social wiles come with the territory. So that's the way it is. Can't sit around forever. Let's not eavesdrop. Yada yada. Are they still over here, or did they give up? Well, I think that's everyone accounted for. Let's head on up to 36. We got that little extra scene there for you guys. And I think all this dialogue is going to be its own separate video. When the terrorists attack, will probably be a separate video entirely. We'll start here. Saw Princess Claudia a few moments ago. I knew she'd be here, but I could still hardly believe my eyes. Being so close to so many dignitaries at once has me starstruck. I think I could live with the shame of laying them down. That's a good enough reason to stay sharp today. Fine. This is His Lordship Prince Albert's room. Speaker McDowell's currently paying a visit inside, however I've been instructed to let you pass. You're welcome to enter if you'd like. We're done deliberating for now, but I'm absolutely exhausted after facing both Osborne and Rocksmith at once. Now, don't sell yourself short, Your Lordship. You've grown quite capable of commanding the room when needed. I'd say your predecessors would be proud of the way you handled yourself in there. It's been 5 years since I ascended to the throne. From a furious domestic order has finally been secured, but I've much to learn as a statesman. Look who it is. Thank you again for all your help yesterday. Good afternoon, Special Support Section. Pardon our interruption. I did hear about your being added to the security detail. We appreciate your service. It's my understanding that you once even saved Speaker McDowell's life. It would seem we're in good hands. I think you may be expecting a little too much from us. Not at all. I do find your presence here most reassuring. We'll need that peace of mind to properly navigate the second half of the conference. About that, do you expect the echoing discussions to become problematic, Grandfather? I do. Unlike the first half, I suspect the faults of Crossbow State will be thrust into the spotlight one after another, to which the major powers will no doubt be as demanding as they've ever been. However, I'm also concerned about Dieter. During our latest diet session, he was rather enthusiastic about introducing some truly radical ideas. Such drive comes with youth, and I do respect that. However, I worry about what direction it might take us today. I hadn't thought about it that way. Mr. Groom had alluded to Mayor Qua having some kind of plan for the last half of the conference. I can't profess to know the details myself, but I'm certain he'll bring it to the table sooner or later. And whether it turns out for good or for ill, it depends entirely on how the conference proceeds, isn't that right, Speaker? Precisely. As Speaker, it is imperative that I lend my utmost support to Mayor Qua during the trade conference. It's no simple duty to be sure, but I will do what I can to fulfill it. But of course, best of luck, Grandfather. And he just repeats that. None of us can afford to lose our focus during the second half of the conference. We'll also need to be especially wary of whatever security proposals the two major powers bring to the floor. You're the Special Sports Second, correct? Princess Claudia told me to let you pass. Feel free to go visit. There she is. May I ask you a question, Zeeg? How do you suppose Grandmother would have handled this if she'd been the one to come? You have a point. I suppose I can't help being the way I am. Hello, Triple S. Sorry for interrupting, Your Highness. It's nothing to concern yourselves over. I was merely thinking aloud. To be honest, I'm glad you came to visit. Your Highness, are you also concerned about what may happen during the second half of the conference? Partially, yes, but I was actually reflecting on something a tad broader. As Crown Princess, I have a fair bit of knowledge when it comes to diplomatic negotiations. But to be a good negotiator takes many skills, insight, judgment, and objectivity, for instance. The first half of the conference made me painfully aware that I still have room for growth in those particular areas. So that's what's bothering you. Give yourself some credit. Knowing where you can improve is half the battle. That's right, and you're still only as old as Lloyd, Ellie, and myself, Your Highness. You're an inspiration if you ask me. That's very kind of you to say. Still, being timid in a room like that is unavoidable at this stage of my career. But though the continent's troubles wait for no one, I nevertheless have to learn at my own pace and take everything in stride. That's a good approach. Just don't forget to cut loose and relax every now and then. Like now, for example. You only get one intermission. You'd be ashamed to waste it. Whereas, I swear to Adius, if you're thinking of inviting her out for a drink or worse, it's alright. I was never one for excessive formalities. The lack of it is quite relaxing, actually. Though now that I think about it, perhaps nostalgic is a better word. When I'm around all of you, it feels as if I'm speaking with Estelle, Joshua, and the rest of our friends. Not sure we can really compare, Your Highness. Well, I'd have to disagree with you on that. Yes, would any of you care for some tea? No, we couldn't possibly. As much as I'd love to, we have somewhere else we need to be. My apologies, I should have anticipated that. I won't keep you any longer. Please be careful today, everyone. I wish you all the best. And rest assured that I'll be giving my very utmost during the second half of the conference. We'll be rooting for you, Your Highness. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to chat with me, everyone. So I'll focus on what's to come during the next phase of the conference. You can say that again, Zeke. You can say that again.
お待ちしていました。クロスベル警察特務支援課の方々ですね。
はい。こちらが大統領閣下の。
ええ。あなた方が来たら陶水。どうぞ中にお入りください。
それでは。
失礼します。大陸最大の国家の一つ、カルバードの首脳ですか？
さすがにちょいとばかり緊張してきたぜ。
失礼します。閣下、クロスベル警察特務支援課、お招きにより参上しました。
おお、よく来てくれたな。遠慮はいらんよ。さあ、座ってくれたまえ。
はい。
それではお言葉に甘
えて。いきなり驚いただろう。いやー、こんな時でもないと時間が取れんと思ったもんでな。忙しいだろうにすまんな。
いえ、そんな。
お気遣いいただき恐縮です。
確か君はマクダエル市長のお孫さんだったかな。確か前に祝賀会か何かでお目にかかったことはないかね。
はい、祖父の付き添いで共和国を訪ねた折にお目にかかっています。一昨年のことになりますね。
おお、確かにそうだった。しかしあのマクダエル市長が今は退かれて自治州議長とは。あのお年にしてあの情熱、まさに政治家の鏡というものだ。
祖父が聞いたらきっと喜ぶと思います。ところで閣下、今日はどのようなご用で？
君たちの話はキリカ君から聞いていたのでな。シュバルツオークションの顛末も痛快だったそうじゃないかね。こう言っちゃなんだが、前のハルトマンという議長は鼻持ちならない男だったからな。その失脚のきっかけを作った功労者たちの顔ぶれは一度見ておきたかったんだ。
恐縮です。
まあどっちかというと勝手に自滅しただけみたいですけど。
そうですね。あんな教団と関わっていた時点でアウトではないかと。
そうそう、それとその教団だ。 DG 教団。大陸各地で悪さをしていたが、最大の被害者は我が国でな。連中にとどめを刺してくれたことも改めて礼を言いたかったのだよ。
いえ、当然のことをしただけですから。それに自分たちの貢献などほんの些細なもので。
ははは、謙遜はやめたまえ。何でも警備隊すら操られていた危機的状況だったそうじゃないか。そんな中、一人の少女を守って邪悪な教団に立ち向かった。いやはや、なかなかできることじゃない。
いや、本当に恐縮です。
過分なお言葉、痛み入ります。
実際あの事件が下手に転んだら大変なことになっていただろう。 IBC も邪悪な教団に占拠され、国際貿易と金融がストップする。そうすれば共和国経済にも深刻なダメージだったに違いない。
それは。
そうなると君たちには勲章でも送らないと格好がつかんかもしれんな。よし、帰ったらすぐにでも豪勢なのを手配させてもらおう。
いや、ちょっとお待ちください。
自治州での事件なのに共和国政府から勲章をもらうのはちょっとおかしいよう
な。マクダエルのじい様からもすでに表彰状をもらってるし
な。何もおかしいことはない。クロスベルの問題はすなわち宗主国である我が国の問題だからな。
閣
そんな顔をするもんじゃない。鉄血宰相にも呼ばれておるのだろう。もう少し話したいところだが、そろそろ行くといいだろう。ああ、勲章は必ず手配するから楽しみに待っててくれたまえよ。
お疲れ様でした。オズボーン宰相のお部屋は反対側になると思います。
あ、どうも。
下。わざわざありがとうございます。
いえ、それでは。
人当たりはいいけど、さすが大国のトップだね。とんでもない大狸じゃないか。
ワジ君、めったなこと言わないの。
でも結構露骨でしたよね。私たちを威圧するのが目的ではなさそうですが。
多分体裁を整えるのが目的だったんだと思うわ。共和国の大統領が教団事件の解決に貢献した私たちに勲章を送るという体裁が。
クロスベルの事件は自分たちにとっての事件、つまり宗主国としての領有権を
おい、そのために呼んだのかよ。大国のトップってのはやっぱりとんでもねえな。
まあ自治州議会の議員とは明らかに格が違いそうだね。
最初の方はどんな話があるんでしょう。
わからない。とにかく腹をくくっておこう。
I don't know about you guys, but I'm gearing up for another break. Good to see you again, Triple S. Did you have a status update to make? Nothing to report for now. What about the two of you? Have you learned anything? Unfortunately not. Things have been quiet thus far. We're exhausting every avenue on the Erebonian side of things as well. But unfortunately, neither the nobles nor the reformers are intent on giving us any leads to work with. That's unfortunate. Big goose egg from both Imperial factions then, eh? They seem like real peaches to deal with. Yesterday, Prince Olivert mentioned the possibility of creating a third faction, didn't he? It's been on my mind ever since. If you wouldn't mind, Major, could you tell me more about his intentions? Ellie? It's only naturally be curious. I'm not supposed to say much, but I don't think there'll be any harm in sharing a bit with the Triple S. To put it metaphorically, you could say the Prince is attempting to shatter some long-standing barriers. Barriers, huh? That's something we're all too familiar with. Basically, there are irreconcilable differences between the noble and reformers factions. But that won't stop him. He aims to have the two come to terms anyway, as absurd as that sounds. The Prince is trying to get the reformist and noble factions to reconcile? I underestimated his starry-eyed idealism. Isn't the divide between the two sides as wide as Gorilla Canyon itself? Wazy, don't be so rude. He's absolutely right. Still, the Prince has committed himself to dancing toe-to-toe with a monster despite how ludicrous it may appear. He's fully aware of what people call him behind his back, a showy, debaucherous bastard prince whose only concern is his leisurely wants. Let them talk. I've decided to stand by him regardless. I see. It's very admirable. The Prince will always have an ally in the world, Major Mueller, just as Princess Claudia has stated. We may not always be able to intervene directly, but we will assist you both in any way we can. Thank you, Senior Captain. I'm truly grateful. The Prince must have truly be loved to have so many valuable allies. I don't know if I'd go that far, but there's no question that he has a certain effect on people. Still, the best thing that could happen today would be the trade conference ending without incident. That is the objective. We'll be counting on you if the situation calls for its special support section. Incidentally, I believe I saw Her Highness emerge from the stairwell a moment ago. No matter, she's too strong to let that man weaken her resolve. Worried myself over nothing. Is she talking about Lecter? Sounds like there's some history there. Best thing that could happen today would be the trade conference ending without incident. That's the objective. We'll be counting on you, yada yada. Repeat. Senior Captain Shores, I'd clock into work in a heartbeat if I had her as fur boss. Wait, what the heck am I thinking? I gotta snap out of it. I'm getting complacent. Not while I'm assigned to such an important post. So, out of curiosity, what happens if we go down? The wall cleared out. That's probably what happens after you trigger the Rocksmith event. But yeah, before we go any further, I'm going to take a small break. I'll be back.